Hi loves. So this is me experimenting to see how well you can hear me on the microphone. See if this can be my video for the day. I'd like to show you around my humble location, but I can't flip out to figure out how to flip the camera. So that'll be next time. I have been really up and down in my life, and I mean that in the sense of my emotional world or the way in which I'm viewing life in general. And one of the things I do or have gotten into the habit of doing when I'm finding things challenging is I go out and I just sit. Like I just sit somewhere. How do I really want to turn you around, but I can't figure it out. How about that? Nope. Nope. I guess you can't flip it around. Okay. Well, I'm literally just sat on the step. And I got into the habit of this when I was at my lowest and I couldn't speak to people about it. I didn't know how to talk or how to share my world. And this today has been sort of a reminder of how far I've come, of how strong I feel inside of myself now. But that sometimes these patterns, they don't really change, they evolve. Like instead of now coming here and smoking a cigarette or something, like I would have probably in my teens and early 20s, now I come here and I sit and I ponder and I consider what content I can create from what I'm feeling and experiencing right now. And I received a beautiful message update from my friend, and all I could hear was my pain, my past pain and my story coming up as I was hearing what was happening for her. All I could feel was what that meant about me. And I know that sounds really weird, but in the sense of sometimes people become our mirrors and we get the opportunity to see in them what we see in ourselves, right? So by my judgment of her, or not judgment really, but the narrative in my head, I can feel how actually that's what I'm feeling about myself and how I'm talking to myself. And you know, the universe doesn't do that to us. We do that to ourselves. And whilst I am deeply appreciative of the coaching industry and the things that I'm learning and growing through in that realm, I'm also being quite mindful of the fact that we can start to perceive the world as something that needs to be fixed, or like our opinion is always needed, or that our input is always needed in a situation. But the truth is, like, people be people regardless, and they're gonna continue to be that person. There's a real boundary, I think, necessary for us to understand more of like where our input is actually needed and if it's relevant or resonant. It probably is with that person, but in the grand scheme of things, isn't it more valuable for people to learn those lessons in their own way, in their own time, if they're not paying you for that? You know, they haven't come to you seeking that advice, they're just sharing themselves with you. So yeah, I'm very mindful of that now. Unless someone is really coming to me for a perspective or an opinion, like, it's not my business to share that. So why put any of us through that? And at the same time, I can take the inspiration that that's gifted me and create something to share with people who might actually be interested in what I have to say, rather than trying to get someone to listen to me that maybe they just need to have their own experience. So yeah, I'm finding the boundaries in my own life. people I love very dearly, where do I place them in how much of me I gift? It comes down to so many things. It might not always be obvious, but the things are like my time, my attention, my awareness. Where am I placing it? How am I choosing to view them? What if I could just trust that they knew the way for them? And that if I felt really compelled to share something, short and profound, or long, deep and meaningful, meaningless even, even if it was just a ramble. We never know what value someone's going to take from that. So I think it ultimately boils down to, anyway, my ponderings for this step situation here we've got going on is I love myself, is it really comes down to a confidence. It comes down to knowing that you are connecting to the highest good of all in that now moment, and so it is. So if we're called to share something, it is because it is for the highest good. Now, once we get to a point in our journey where we're evolving beyond needing to share our story with every Tom, Dick and Harry, or every friend, family member and passerby that kind of remotely looks like someone who we might resonate with, or if you're me, just anyone really. I just talk to anyone, I always have done. Say you get to that stage and you're kind of like, okay, I've gotten to the point now where I've exhausted the need to talk about myself. I have plenty of spaces and places where that's like actively encouraged, and I can consciously make art from that rather than making stories up that keep people trapped in cycles. There is a level beyond that, I feel, of moving into conscious sharing. And conscious sharing for me feels like having an undying confidence in the fact that what you're sharing is really valuable. And once you make that shift, I think people really start to notice, and actually they can implement the changes in their own life in a way that is more meaningful to them rather than just something that you're telling them to do. I think that's something that the coaching industry, for example, is missing often and frequently. That perhaps something like counseling or therapy maybe doesn't, because it's a formalized system and people are really going to be snapped out of that pattern. I mean, from my perspective, you get snapped into another pattern of here you are, you're sick, you're healthy, you're this, you're that, depending on the process, of course. But these are my ponderings today. It's nice to hear the birds, isn't it? I don't know if I can turn you around. Some English side streets here. You can imagine teenage me, can't you? Cigarette, spliff probably. More likely a spliff. Numbing out life but enjoying. That's what I used to do. I still do this actually, not maybe in the same way, but I drop into my body and I drop into the gift of life, like these just little moments of everyday life. Aren't they fantastic? The bird, just the people that have been coming up and down, and the cute little awkward eye contact that I get sometimes when they're like, what is this person doing? Can I trust them? And then I'm having some like deep, profound conversation with myself and they're like, I don't care. Or they're like, ugh, weirdo. But I love these moments. This is what makes me feel alive, and I really wish I could fucking turn you around. Look at this shit out. Goodness. Look how idyllic it is. It's like so simple, but this is human life. This is just being human. It's so fucking cool. Anyway, so I'm going to carry on walking. We're going to see what the sound quality is like on this. This is my test run. I'm going to upload it regardless because I believe in natural content creation, and I'm not going to force myself to do something I'm not ready to do yet, but video editing is in the future, I promise. So let's just connect in with our breath to finish off. Maybe you can enjoy the rest of this walk with me. Hear the sound of the wind, the gentle tones of the cars as they pass. And maybe we can just enjoy being human in this very blustery day. Oh. I can't show you the cute dogs. Near-death experience. Cute. Little moments of life popping up. Love you.